that's open not only to Y members, but anybody in the community. We partner with the Outreach for New Life, which is young men at risk for drug-related and alcohol addiction. We partner with the Ladysmith Fire and Rescue Squads to include all the stations as program proceeds. We're going to add more to that, and I'll have someone come up and talk about that a little bit. We partner with the Caroline Court Service Unit. We have probation students to come do community service at the Y, and we help mentor them through that program. The Caroline Ministers Group are joining together to help the community. We partner with them. We've taken part in neighborhood celebrations since we've been open, and we're planning on participating in the Harvest Days coming up very soon. We'll play a major part in that with the children's activities. Very excited about that. We collected toys for Toys for the Tots program with toys for the kids in Caroline County, and we plan on doing that again this year. We supported and participated in the annual senior gala, and we also the high school swimming program. We're hoping to get started this year. The high schools have already met with us, and we're trying to coordinate practice times with them for this year, and I think that's going to happen. We're excited about that. We're trying to start a church basketball league. We have a special needs programs for children and adults, and something dear to our heart for the whole Rappahannock area YMCA. As you all know, Durante Rollins, who was injured, broke his back this year in a car accident, and he was going to get ready to go to Ferrum College. So he's still in rehab for that. We've offered the services for the Y, gave him a free membership so he can continue with his rehab on that. We also donated for the whole Y all our weekend joining fees for July and August to go to him and his family to help support his rehab. To date, we gave him a check of $2,000, and we're hoping to match that as we get through the end of August. So I was very enthused about that program. At this time, I'd like to introduce a few people who use our Y and let them tell their very short personal YMCA story. Candy Cross.
Hi, I'm Candy Cross. Actually, I live in Hanover County, but come to the Caroline Y, like 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. Started out as just a place to go work out, and that didn't last long at all. I cannot say enough about the staff, the team that are in that building, and you're correct. It is a building, but those people inside that building are the heart and soul. Didn't take long before I was jumping up and down to volunteer, do anything I can do for the Caroline community. And while I was at it, went ahead and lost 50 pounds. So love it, can't say enough about it. Know anybody that has questions or concerns or kind of on the edge about joining, give them my phone number, tell them give me a call. Love it.
Sean Daniels.
Good evening. My name is Sean Daniels. I've been part of Ladysmith Fire for 5+ years at this time. I was impacted by the Y, partly in participation in their fire rescue wellness and fitness program, their pilot program. We were provided with a personal trainer, nutritionist, and a meditation specialist towards the end. This program is like the first step towards a more healthy EMS system in Caroline, and I think it's a really good system that we should grow. I graduated at Bridgewater College with athletic training, sports medicine, bachelor's degree, and I believe that from all the information I got in college that this is a real good way to make our EMS system more efficient, safe, and more helpful to our community. Yeah.
Mary Andrews.
Well, it's so good to see everybody tonight. I joined the Y several months ago so I could send my little grandson to the day camp, and he had such a good time, and the The camp counselors were just so good with him, and they were kind and just supportive of all the children. And then I started using the Y. I go to all of the different exercise programs in the gym, and they have a lovely warm water therapy pool. So you should all come. And the senior luncheon it's once a month, and it's a great opportunity to meet new people and to learn things. They always have a guest speaker that has very informative topics. Today we had something on massage therapy. We also had one on organically grown foods in the county. And it's just, there's something for everybody at the Y, and I am very happy that I joined. My whole family has joined, so thank you very much.
And that is just a few of the success stories so far at the Y. I can't obviously bring everybody in here to talk, but I promise you there's going to be many, many, many more throughout this year. And it's going to keep on growing and growing. Membership's going to grow, program participation's going to grow, and so will the success stories.
Thank you. In conclusion, I would like to thank you very much for allowing us to come today to present the insights of the evolution of the Y programs, designed to promote and to support the entire Caroline County community. Our board of directors and staff are all part of the community citizens as taxpayers and community volunteers as we work hard to help to ensure Caroline County moves forward to the future. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't have a question. I would just like to echo what's been said so far about the Y. I'm real honored because I was or have been asked to serve on the board of directors for the Y. And being here as a supervisor and also being on the board of directors as a Y, I can certainly see both sides of the issue. And I can tell you that things are just great where the Y is concerned. I was over there today, and I saw young people being taught to swim. I went into the exercise room, which I should have stayed a little longer, but I saw senior citizens on treadmills getting exercise. I talked to a young man, and I was just asking him, who he was, and he told me his name, and he said he had graduated from Caroline High some years ago, and he said he was a senior now at Virginia Commonwealth University and is working part-time at the Y. So it's beneficial, and the stories go on and on, but it is quite beneficial, and I think it's just been a great asset to our county, and I would just like to thank all of those people who are working and continually making it a success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Ms. Black, did you have a question? Mr. Akers? No questions? Ms. Seeley? Okay. Thank you very much for coming. It seemed like a while I met with you and the foundation. Mm-hmm. It was the early part of July, wasn't it?
It was. Indeed.
Okay.
That's why we're here, at your suggestion.
And we didn't have a meeting until now, so it seemed like a long time. And I spoke to Ms. Moyer, and she is going to have the foundation come to us at a later date. Mm-hmm. But I think it was great for you to come and tell us all the programs that the Y does. And like Mr. Taylor, if it wasn't for genetics, I would have to go to the exercise much more often. But I thank my grandparents for their genetics, and it comes natural, so I don't have to do anything. But we do appreciate all the things you do, and maybe that warm pool is not a bad idea. So thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you for your kind words.
All right, we'll move to agenda item 2, appointments. We have a rec advisory from Port Royal and Planning Commission Madison. Mr. Taylor?
I will definitely have it next time.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. Mr. Akers?
I do. First of all, I'd like to ask the board to agree to a resolution recognizing Pete Davis and his many years as a Planning Commission member. And he served pretty much the entire time as chairman of that group, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 years. Pete has taken a job
Out of the
in
country?
Belize,
Yeah.
of all places. And I'm not sure why he'd want to go there with the nice weather and beautiful waters and what have you. But anyway, he's taking a job there, and certainly wish him the very best. But I've asked, and Mr. Charles Shoebridge has agreed to serve on the Planning Commission representing the Madison District. I am confident that he'll do a great job for us, as the past Madison District planning members have done. So I would make a motion that we appoint Mr. Charles Shoebridge to the Madison District position on the Planning Commission.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Akers to appoint Mr. Charles Shoebridge. Now, he's actually filling the term of Pete Davis.
He is his
So
term.
he's-
And by the way, Mr. Shoebridge is right down the front row there, well, third row.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and he'll
Yes,
be,
he's
he'll be
filling
filling the
the
term,
outside
and then after that term expires, you can appoint him again.
Yes.
The motion was seconded by Mr. Seeley. All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Akers, and Mr. Taylor, you have yours next, sometime next month. We got two meetings in September. We're going to do consent agenda. You're going to be in the bill? We're just going to do consent? Okay. Anybody like to pull anything off the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, sure. I don't know.
I'd like to pull letters G, H, and I, please.
G, H, and I for
Yes.
further discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Seeley?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull K and L.
K and L for further discussion. All righty, we have A through F and J. Nobody wanted to pull J off.
I talked to the sheriff's office.
Where's Ted? Oh, okay. Well, actually, I thought somebody would
You
figure
want to
out.
pull J?
No, I'm just going to explain J for somebody who doesn't see, but the Radio Communications of Virginia purchase agreement, even though we just spent $6 million on a radio system for the sheriff's office and school and fire and rescue, this particular agenda item is more for the electronics that go on the sheriff vehicle. So although it says communications, it's not radios. And that's what Mr. Lambert's just explained. So we'll need a motion to approve A through F and J right now.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. So Mr. Black wants to pull G, more explanation on the purchasing card policies. Mr. Cully, are you going to defer to Mrs. Hatcher? Okay.
I guess my concern, and I've heard this is from multiple people, that this is an easier system to go with. Take counties like that are comparable to us, not supposed to be in Hanover, but Orange, King George. Do like counties like us have this system in place?
I know the system that we're putting in place, which is through Bank of America, is in New Kent County, Dinwiddie County, York County, and I don't know it. I can get you a whole list of who all's on it. A lot of the jurisdictions are going to a P card policy. It's just easier to manage. There's more controls, and it's more efficient.
Okay.
What's the real difference between that and the credit card?
Currently, the credit card, when you're on a P card policy, the Bank of America card, which is what we're through, is under state contract. So we went through them. We have a credit line of $500,000. On our current credit cards, each credit card of the old system had a limit. The problem with it is the fact we only had a certain number of cards. So if multiple departments were using cards, we constantly had to call the bank to find out what the balance is, see if we had enough cards to go around, and it just wasn't efficient.
So this system will allow you to better calculate and account for all the expenditures.
Yes, sir.
Even beyond that, there are issues with just having a lot of cards out there or not having enough cards. Fire and Rescue had real problems with, needing to purchase something right away type of purchase, but not having a card or having to have to find the chief to get a card to them, or some officer to get a card to them to buy something. He can explain it in more detail, but he's been sort of the driving force to try to improve what's called small purchases. These are not big purchases, but there's certainly small purchases. And there's just been lots of issues working with regular Visa cards or MasterCards as opposed to procurement, which then will come back to the supervisors to review those things. You'll know who's made the purchase because that card's got your name on it. You don't have to share a card with 6 other firemen. And then the accountability, well, did you do that? No, I didn't. Who did what? It's a lot tougher.
So Chief Loftus has the leeway to decide who the cards go to. So Chief Loftus gets, or any department head gets the cards, and then they disseminate them to whoever they want.
All the departments have already given me the list of names of who gets cards. Certain departments only wanted a card, so they got their card in the department name so that they can use it. Those are small departments. The rest of them, they established, the department heads told me who were getting cards, what the name on the card was going to be, and what their single transaction and monthly limit was to be.
Now, on the warrants for this month, I talked to Mr. Cully and Mr. Partner on several expenses in several different departments. It says Visa, and it'll say like $364. I'm just giving an example. And so is this? I mean, I have no idea when I look at those warrants right now what the $364 is spent on. So is the card system now going to tell me that if if the fire department needs whatever they need for that same amount, it's going to say the employee that purchased it and what was purchased?
It will not say the employee. I mean, you all will never see that information unless you ask for it.
You can get it.
You can get it, but it's on your
right out.
The Bright system isn't going to print it out. This is through what they call the works. I can actually download it into the Bright system. So instead of seeing Visa, 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 you'll see G&G, A&M, whatever. All the companies will actually be listed rather than Visa.
Well, we see that right now in some, and then others we just say Visa. It just depends on
I only have Visa cards right now.
Yeah, when we pay it to Visa, the vendor listed is Visa. So that's always Visa. You might see a description in the description field, but what we're saying now is with the new system, you'll see
the actual
purchase.
vendor.
You won't really realize it's been on the P card. That'll be handled in the office. It's approved by the department head before it comes to finance to pay. And we can give you a printout of every purchase and who made the purchase. It will be included
in your warrant list. You just won't realize it's P card versus a check.
And every department's getting training on these, I take it.
Some more than others. Right. Oh, training? Yeah, everybody will get training.
Everybody has to be trained on it.
Sign for it.
Every card holder has to sign a cardholder agreement.
Okay. Thank you.
We really do believe it's going to be a much better system than we currently use.
Okay. Last question on that. The policy we have on our packets marked draft, is that the final policy?
If you would like to make changes, that's why it's here in draft form.
Okay. Any changes while we're on this particular? Okay. All right, we're going to take the policy as is, which is in your packet or in your computer. Okay. Satisfied with G? You have H also?
Yeah, I just had a question on, where are these two properties located?
Voting district or?
Voting, yes, the voting district.
One is in Mattapan, one is in Bowling Green.
No, they're both.
They're both in Mattapan.
No, the other one is yours. I just lost
Am I
it.
wrong,
Yeah.
Mr. Fincham?
I believe it's Mattapan, yes, sir.
I believe they both are.
301 is the,
What's Antioch Road?
that would be Milford,
Yeah, anyhow.
right down from the properties that no longer have structures on them.
Okay.
And I guess,
But White Meadows was the one, well, both of these used to be in the Bowling Green district. They
Yes, at one time,
One
prior
time,
to the
that's
last.
were. And now that they're in the Mattapan district, I got to take care of them.
well, we weren't doing property maintenance, which takes me to my next issue, because I thought I had two properties
Well, yeah, that's
also.
Those are still working their way through the process, Mr. Seeley. We've not forgotten them. They are in process.
Because we talked about all of them at the same time.
Yes.
So I guess I was curious how we were to 2 and not all 6.
These are new requests in addition to the ones the board has previously discussed.
So yours.
One is abutting a parcel that the board previously authorized action. The second one is a property that we had to do these, go in and cut the grass last year as well.
Right.
So these are 2 additional requests.
That go on the other 6?
Yes, sir.
Or, actually, I didn't have any on the other ones. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you did. I was going to say we just tore them down.
Yeah, I'm not really finished, but never mind. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're adding these to the others.
Yeah, I guess my concern is, can you keep us updated on, because there's 6 different districts, and my concern is here, I mean, the whole county, I have no doubt there's several in Western Carolina as well, or they're in Bowling Green, or in, Port Royal, or Madison. So can you just keep us?
I can generate the list
I mean,
for you of the active complaints that we have related to property maintenance. Yes, sir. I'll forward you a copy of that.
Is that something you can keep us, updated every couple months on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
So you're okay, and since we're on the subject, the cars at Nelson Hill Road,
Yes, sir.
that's on the previous one we did, right?
That is on the previous list. County attorney is working on the notice for the court to hear that case.
Okay. Yeah, some are a bit more serious, so one is a cutting grass and one is like a health issue. Okay. All right, Mr. Black, you're okay with H now?
Yes.
Can I add a couple more while we're here? Never mind. All right, I was also yours.
I had talked to Chief Loftus about this actually earlier.
You're good, or?
Yeah, no, I just had a quick question. We had talked about these defibrillators are for your ambulances, correct?
That's
These ones
correct.
on the grant. Can we get a list of the ones that are in buildings around the county and the schools as to what shape they're into as far as, I mean, I understand the ambulances are number one, but it would be nice to see, how old is the one in the high school, how old is the one in, in here, or.
Okay, I can email that list to you from the meeting.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. That's all I really needed. Thank you.
Excellent.
Chief, can you send that to all of us?
I'll
Or
send it to
Mr.
Mr.
Cully? I think because in my discussion with Mr. Parton on the agenda, these are 11 years old or 10 years old, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we need a regular refresh schedule.
We tried to put it in the CIP.
You did?
Yes, sir.
It didn't make it past 10, because I don't remember seeing it.
To buy one a year, that would put us on a 10-year or 11-year schedule for replacement. So
Okay, but
that's what we'd like to try to do.
How much does one cost?
$26,000.
These are the regular panel jobs like you see
Right.
on.
Yeah, these are go in the back of the ambulance. They do more than just defibrillate. They monitor blood pressure. They monitor your PO2.
But that's not the one you have in a school.
No. The ones we have in the schools are about $2,700.
Okay.
Yep.
2,600, 27, okay. Because I'd really feel bad if somebody said clear and nothing happened. So we need to make sure those are all up to date, and if, in response to Mr. Black, if you're going to get us a list now, we may want to consider replacing those sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir. We can get to that for you. And just one other note, we do, as a department, check those every year and update the software. So they're all current. The batteries are all good. The pads get replaced each year. Our staff goes to each one. But I'll check on the year for the age.
Okay.
Thank
Just to make sure, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And thanks for catching that, Mr. Black. Mr. Seelig, you have K.
Item K. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess my question is, and this goes back some time ago, that, Mrs. Beard, the county fair was actually looking to have the Historymobile come, and I guess the discussion I'd had that it was event that they backed out because they thought it was going to Port Royal for the 150th anniversary. And now I see in the application that we're actually going to put this at the visitor center. And I think the ability to move folks from Port Royal to the visitor center is going to be really tough. And we only overlap one school day, which will be Friday, and I believe that's the day they set up. So we potentially have more visibility with this in Port Royal than we will at the visitor center. So those are my list of questions to start.
Certainly, Mr. Seeley, thank you. The opportunity to have it at the visitor center on the 50,000-foot level gives us the opportunity to bracket the entire county. Utilizing the visitor center location right there at the exit 104, we'll be able to allow easy access to the public, to our customer, to the project. Number two would be the access of public facilities. There will be an awful lot of generation of public facilities necessary to work with the History Mobile. And in their actual application, they do require that there are public bathrooms available not only for the staff, but also for the participants. The third thing is, in order to have it for the entire project, our tentative applications is that they would arrive on Thursday evening and be ready to go by 10 o'clock Friday morning. It would take a lot of orchestration in order to have students on school buses be able to come in that Friday, but also then there would be opportunity for families to come in on Saturday and Sunday, as well as the Friday. So the coordination effort of the school children to the visitor center will allow them to pull in the parking lot, disembark, the buses to stay, having facilities, having chances and opportunities to, for the children to be well managed while they're waiting to go through the facility. We really need the support that the visitor center offers in order to have an opportunity to compete for the application process for the History Mobile. The deadline is September 5th, and there will be an awful lot of communities that are involved with the project. It's possible that we could get it for one day if we put it in Port Royal. I do believe at that point then we've housed everything there, cutting off Bowling Green, cutting off other businesses along the corridor, and that by offering this strategy, we can leave it for 3 days and be able to move people all the way from the visitor center through Bowling Green and the Arts Center and into Port Royal.
My experience in doing this over a lot of years is drawing people who are on the booth tour all the way to even Bowling Green's been difficult. And what I'd like to do is at least capture them at one location, which is potentially Port Royal, moving them all the way, because the folks that come down from Maryland, as you know, are on a very specific tour. And I've spoken with AP Hill. They are working to partner with us to actually have the site available to us for those 3 or 4 days. I think the Surratt Society is probably going to capitalize or try to capitalize on that, and they will turn around at that very location and head north again. I mean, that's been their history in the past. They rarely come all the way to Bowling Green and stay. I guess my other concern is in the application we didn't allow for what it was going to cost to do this. Do we have a rough idea? Because we have to put up 4 folks someplace for the duration that they're here.
That's right. What will have to happen is that we will submit our application. If our application is approved, then they will send us the host agreement. The host agreement will include probably hotel rooms for 3 nights for 4 people. Those we can make arrangements. We will have to pay something. There will be additional kinds of things that we may need to do, but the host agreement only takes place after the application is accepted.
So that we didn't really talk about putting this in Port Royal, which is where I think we could capitalize.
Yes, there was discussion that, I certainly talked about it being in effect with the Port Royal project, not ever in the town itself of Port Royal, due to facilities, due to location where to park it, due to parking around the History Mobile that's required. The town proper itself of Port Royal, in my belief, does not really lend itself for the kind of activity that that the History Mobile will generate.
Okay.
There's no place to park it and have people come see it.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Seeley also pulled
Thank you.
or ask item L. Mr. Fincham, before he does that, or Mr. Fincham, I guess you're going to come, but before he does that, Mr. Culley, and now that the county attorney's here, it just seems like this whole thing is an extra step to me. We are actually providing, well, the town is providing water to townhouses on the other side of Food Line, which are in the county. They're already doing that. Now we have the town proposing to provide water to a person who owns a few parcels right next to those townhouses. And it seems like, for me, if I were looking at it from the outside, it seems like we're now doing an extra government step and kind of slowing down everything. And we didn't update the comprehensive plan to run water for those townhouses, but now when the second option comes, we need to update the plan on the second one. It just seems a little silly. I know we're going to go ahead and do it, but again, did I say it seems a little silly? So,
Yes, sir.
Is that because our hands are tied and it has to be that way? Or there's a rule or a law or something that says we have to do that, or we just want to make sure it's clean?
Yes. The comprehensive plan and the state code speak to the extension of public utilities. And it says that those utilities should be consistent with the comprehensive plan. There are a number of cases throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia where utilities were extended where local governments did not want those utilities to be extended. Prince William County Service Authority some years back looked at extending utilities where Prince William County did not want those utilities to be extended.
Okay.
So the idea is that the utilities are governed by the comprehensive plan to ensure that, in this case, the Board of Supervisors supports the extension of those utility services, and that they are not extended into areas where you as a board do not want those utilities to go. The Bowling Green sub-area plan spoke to identifying a service area between the county and the town as to where town utilities would be appropriate versus county utilities. That has not yet been done, and that's what this proposed amendment would do. And as written, we've crafted it fairly narrowly to identify two options within a specific area for the board's consideration.
Okay. And I wanted to make sure that was clear, and I appreciate staff's desire to have things done correctly. Sometimes we want to just have things done, and sometimes we need to have them done correctly. So thank you for that, Mr. Fincham. Mr. Seeley's question is about the size of the comprehensive area, though.
It was funny, this was on the consent agenda, and we were presented two options. And rather than have the Planning Commission work on two options and have all kinds of comments, I was just curious if we could narrow this down to option one so that everybody was clear on what we were doing and where we were going.
Yes, sir.
Rather than the two options, and then there's discussion of it should go here, it should go there. Can we cut out this? Can we cut out that? Can we add this? So my interest in this, since this has traditionally been what I thought was already in the comprehensive plan, was narrowing this down to just option one.
Right.
Yes, sir. That's fine.
That's the smaller of the two, which covers the parcels that are in question. And it also, just for county understanding, there is no impact to the county at all because there are no businesses involved. There's no taxes the county's going to lose. And this particular location is 10 miles from the nearest county water line. So the odds on us extending county water there are kind of slim anyhow.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, we're going to go at option one as part of L.
And I think I'll make a motion for item L. I make a motion we propose amendments to the comprehensive plan to allow the town of Bowling Green to provide utility services outside the town limits as outlined in option 1 from staff.
And part of your motion, approve agenda items G, H, I, and K.
And I will G, H, I, and K.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. That takes care of the consent agenda. At 7:30, we're supposed to do public comments and then public hearing, but if you'll give us a 10-minute break, we'll be right back after that, and we'll go from there. So we'll take a 10-minute break. We are going to resume. At this time, we'll do public comment. At this point in time, we allow any citizen who would like to address the board on any subject that's not a public hearing to feel free to come to the board and make a presentation for 3 minutes. So at this time, I will open the public comment section for anyone who would like to speak to the board. Please make your way forward. State your name and your voting district when you can. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's great to see all of you again. Mark Farrow with Madison. I miss all of you. I came tonight, Supervisor Akers. I know you said that I could send my letter of resignation in for the Recreational Advisory Committee Board. But I wanted to come in person out of respect to the board and to you, and thank you for the opportunity to serve on the Recreational Advisory Committee. It's been a great experience. We've benefited. He's been through karate, clinics, camps. He's doing soccer this year, football. But the other half would like to see me resign from a few of the 9 boards that I'm on, and so she gets what she wants, and I get to spend more time with him on the field. So I'm here tonight to thank you once again and to officially turn in my letter of resignation. So. And keep up the great work, because, I mean, it's a great benefit. We've lived in other cities, other states, other counties, and, I mean, the benefit that we get for the amount of money is incredible. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. $35 for, you know, how many weeks is it for karate? Like, I don't know, 16, 12 weeks. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Right. But anyway, just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you, Mark, for serving. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thanks for your service, Mark. Is there anyone else who would like to speak as part of the public comment section? Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll declare public comment closed and move to our one and only public hearing. This public hearing is a proposed ordinance amendment to change the Port Royal polling precinct from the volunteer fire department to the Port Royal Town Hall. I believe that's all the introduction we need. Electoral board members are here. If you'd like to say something before the public hearing, or if you'd like to say something after the public hearing, I don't think there'll be a lot of questions, but. Okay, thank you very much then. And that note, I will declare the public hearing to be open for the proposed change from the fire department to the town hall in Port Royal. Is there anyone who would like to speak regarding this matter? Is there anyone who would like to speak regarding this matter? Is there anyone who would like to speak? Hearing none. Public hearing is declared closed. Our action would be to approve the ordinance amendment. Mr. Taylor, since it's Port Royal, I'll give you that pleasure.
Certainly, I would say to do that. The only thing I would like to do just before we do that, if I could ask them to briefly just state how we're going to let voters know of the change. I know this, but I just wanted to state it for the record.
And while you're here, excuse me, while you're here, why don't you introduce all the members of the electoral board, since this is broadcast on TV and some folks may not know.
Okay. We have Cheryl Johnson, our secretary, and Carol Keel, our newest member, and myself, John Nunley, chairman.
Thank you,
We have strategically done this so with the changing of the boundaries with the town, every voter in that precinct will get a new voter card. So we've done this so that we only have to do this once. So they will be notified by having a new voter card.
And I was aware of that. I just basically know that this is televised and just another means of getting the information out to the people. So thank you so much for what you all do.
Yes, sir.
Having said that, I would move that we approve the proposed change as presented.
Is there a second?
If I can get a second.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor, seconded by Mr. Akers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all very much.
You can start sending out the voter cards.
It's on the way.
All right. Okay, unfinished business, agenda item F, which was deferred at the request of the applicant. This was Mr. Seeley's district. He has asked, and Mr. Fincham has asked, what day would the board like to have this in September? Mr. Seeley, your call.
How about the second meeting in September?
Okay. We'll inform Mr. Fincham. We'll move this to our second meeting in September. Or Mr. Parton's got it, yes. An unfinished business, the rezoning R7 2013, Mr. Dillon, Mr. Fincham's here. I just spoke to Mr. Dillon, and I didn't see, I missed it. I thought we didn't have all the information. He has all the information. I would just like to talk to him, so I've asked if I could defer that till our first meeting in September.
You need a motion.
I'll take a motion if you'd like to.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we defer RZ 07 2013 Dillon Hardip until the first meeting in September.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That motion carries unanimously. And thank you for your patience, Mr. Dillon. I know you've waited a long time. Agenda item number 7, I believe is the chief. Cost estimate on the use of the surplus school radio tower by Fire and Rescue.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Back in May, the board asked us to look at possible uses of the surplus radio tower that the school was getting rid of. Staff has researched those and given us 2 main options to look at. One of those would be a portable tower system that could be deployed anywhere in the county that we needed additional communications, generally post an emergency event when our regular communication system would go down. And that you have before you is option 1. That would be a custom-made option on a custom-made trailer, and that's why you see the cost of that as being where it is. Option 2 would be to place that tower at Ladysmith Fire Department. We talked to them about doing some in-kind work to place that tower at that facility. But again, the cost of doing that, the cost of putting the antennas and the radios on that tower, again, are fairly high. It is my recommendation to the board that based on those costs and the potential use of that tower, which would be extremely rare in both cases, that wouldn't justify spending that kind of money for that project. So, questions?
That's it. Any questions, Chief? Chief, that's really all I wanted to know.
Okay.
I didn't like the idea of just giving away a resource, even though it belonged to the schools. If there is no need for the county, and this was the step we made sure that the county couldn't use it, or it was too cost effective, or wasn't cost effective, we'll return it to the schools, let them sell it, and they can take the profit or whatever from it.
Sir.
Okay? Any questions on the board?
None at all.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd just like to, and not to say it's anybody's fault or anything went wrong, but I think we need to check these kind of things beforehand, so we don't get involved in the last minute. But if the schools are throwing away anything, we need to ask if the county can use it, and maybe vice versa. I don't think you have a lot of things that you're going to throw away, but I mean, in general.
What's that?
We didn't know anything.
We didn't know. We didn't.
Right. And I'm just saying that's the communication we need to make sure, because it could have been something really valuable that we just let you know, a private citizen have or buy when the county could have used it. So we're fine. I guess we're actually going to return it to the schools. We need a motion to return it to the schools and let them sell it. So that would be the